All right, to Las Cruces now, where an apparent case of road rage took a dangerous turn.
KFOX 14 morning anchor Selena Madrid spoke with the woman who was injured in that incident and is now left with a lot of questions.
He walked up to my window, hit me, said, "You're not so tough now," and then that was it. And he got back in his car and drove off.
In the very place where her nightmare unfolded, Charli sat down with me at the Game Sports Bar and Grill on Espina Street. 2 weeks have now passed, but the pain still lingers. Dark bruises frame her eyes, a broken nose that's already required surgery. She's still terrified, but bravely speaking out to make sure others don't suffer the same.
I was coming from downtown, and a ways back I had looked in my rearview mirror, and he seemed to be driving crazy already, like he was just trying to pass and just go real fast. And I was in the right lane, there was a car next to me, and I ended up just keeping pace with that car. You know, like he caught up to me eventually, got right behind me, like he wanted to pass me, but I just kept going the speed limit. And
Charli says what started as a strange encounter on the road quickly escalated.
After that, the car next to me had turned and I kept going, and he tried to pass me. There was another car there, but I didn't let him pass me. And he followed me down Missouri, and I was in my right lane, and he just stayed behind me at this point. He was like really close, and I flipped him off. After that, he like just followed me down this road right here, Solano. And he just like stayed on me at that point. I knew that the game was really busy, like most of the time. And so I figured like if I pulled into a public place, like, you know, the something like that, you just don't expect something like that to happen.
Hoping to avoid confrontation, she pulled into a place she thought would be safe, a well-lit, crowded parking lot.
I pulled onto the street where the game is, and I pulled into the parking lot with all the cars. And I rolled down my window, and I was like, "What? Why are you following me? I did for you." He got out of his car real quickly, and I did start rolling up my window, but I guess I just froze. Like, walked up to my window, hit me, said, "You're not so tough now," and then that was it. And he got back in his car and drove off, and I sat there dazed for a second, like, because I've never been hit that hard in my life, you know, and I hope it doesn't happen again.
Dazed but determined, Charli snapped into action.
I sat there for a second, like, you know, in shock, and I saw him drive away, and I was like, no, like, Charli, you have to get his license plate.
She proceeded to follow him while on the phone with 911, and then a police officer showed up behind her.
And it just so happened to be that there was a police officer right behind me. And that's when I finally was like, okay, I'll pull over. I'll let him handle it, but I want him to just keep going. I don't want him to stop for me. So I pulled off to the side, and he started stopping, and I was waving my hands out of the window. And at this point, I just got out, and I was like, no, like, I'm fine, just go. He's in that black Ford Escape. He's right down there.
KFOX 14 able to obtain the suspect's mugshot and identity, Nathan Engelbrecht. He was later arrested at work, a job that stunned even Charli.
They arrested him at his job because he was a counselor, which is insane to me.
Surveillance footage from the parking lot pulled by the game's owner played a critical role in tracking the suspect down. The video clearly captured his vehicle and license plate, and he's now being charged with a felony. Owner Marcy Dickerson says this incident shook her to her core.
I was shocked that someone would have, if you will, that level of outrage and physical violence in this particular instance. You know, this gentleman was not a street thug, if you will. He was an educated therapist. He was employed. And if he felt that he could show up and punch someone in the face with absolutely no repercussions for his actions.
As for Charli, she can only hope justice will be served, but says nothing she did justified the violence she endured.
No matter what happened, even if I didn't let him pass me, whatever, that doesn't give him a right to put your hands on anybody.
I'm Selena Madrid reporting.
So Las Cruces police say road rage cases in the city aren't just happening more often, they're also escalating.
Police Chief Jeremy Story calls the recent violence deeply troubling and says video evidence can be key when it comes to delivering justice.
And I think it's a nationwide trend we're seeing. It's always been a problem, but we're seeing kind of the level of the response increase, so that more violence than we've seen in previous times.
So as Selena just mentioned in her report there, in this case, surveillance footage from the Game Sports Bar and Grill helped police identify that suspect and vehicle.
For us, our job is to find the truth. And so having video isn't absolute, but is very helpful in finding the truth and making sure that the right person is charged and that there's justice for the victim.
The chief says that community members are crucial, urging anyone who sees dangerous driving to speak up and report it right away.